From a very young age, I always had this feeling that I was going to do something exciting with my life, Um, and but I never quite had a clear sense of what it was, as a kid, like I wanted to be a film director. I wanted to be a musician for a bit. Um, More recently, I've been very inspired by being an entrepreneur. I had all these different ideas, but not all of them seem to fit together very neatly. But one thing that's for certain is that I have had this idea that I have the potential to make a success of my life, and like I want to do this. But and I think a lot of people do. And you might think, in a sense, like this is it's a great thing to have, and of course it is. But the trouble is, unless you have like a clear image of what it is that you want to make great about your life, it can be very frustrating, and time can go past. You can get older, and you can feel very depressed because you're not sort of living up to the image of yourself that you thought you would. But the trouble is, if you haven't created an image of what it is exactly that you want to improve, exactly what you want to achieve, then of course you're not going to be satisfied. Of course you're not going to achieve it. One thing I've realised recently is you need an image of where your life's going, or if you really want to maximise like your sense of productivity throughout the day, and your sense of progress throughout your life, you need quite clear goals. You need to have a direction of where you're going. And, you can be as hardworking as you like, but there's no real point being hardworking if you don't have these goals in mind. Obviously I've talked about these kind of general ideas that I've had in my mind of what I want to do with my life. But none of them, like it's all very well having rough ideas, but what's much more important is like a definite image of what you want to be able to do, what to go all in on. And the reason for this is because it's very easy to get caught up in the wrong thing, get caught up in something that you're not really very passionate about, but that you think you are. I've had this experience with music, to some extent with sort of entrepreneurship as well. So I've recently finished working at this job, this sort of door-to-door sales job, and part of me quitting was this kind of realization that actually, it's all very well being an entrepreneur, in an entrepreneurial environment, blah blah, but why is that actually important to you, And I sort of realized there's a layer of ego in there, And so anyway, I think it's really important just to reflect on what's actually genuinely important to you. And you can take it down to the smallest aspects of your life. But if you just sit there with a pen and paper and just think, what's truly important to me? What do I truly want to... What can I definitely agree with myself that I would 100% like to fix in my life? 100% want to get. And I think that's a good place to start, so setting goals. And I've written a few kind of things here of just sort of general goals, and I'm just going to read them out. And these aren't big goals. These aren't really anything to do with my career or things that I want to achieve. It's more about sort of well-being, and sort of fitness. But having these goals in my mind, it really sort of make everything a lot clearer. So I'm just going to read them out. So I've got mainly just health, fitness, and well-being goals. Being able to fight, being more mindful, having better posture, no dull ache in lats, chest, hips, and discomfort in the spine. Being able to stand up for 10 minutes without my legs getting stiff and tired. No bow posture, so it's like basically if you have bad posture, sometimes the curve in your spine can go slightly further towards your sort of the bottom of your back. Better sleep, breathing fully into the stomach, ability to circulate sexual desire through your body, through belly breathing. Don't get distracted by thoughts in conversation. These are some of the goals that I've just written down. And they're not very ambitious goals. They're not all that exciting, really. But I can agree with myself that these are important. If I did any number of these things, I would improve my life by 10%, maybe. If I had no dull ache in my lats, chest, hips, and discomfort in the spine, that would just free up so much of my kind of mental bandwidth. If I could stand up for 10 minutes without my legs getting stiff, what an exciting world that would be, where I could do that. If I could breathe fully into the belly, the health benefits associated with that is enormous. More mindfulness, better sleep. All these things, just if I tick these off one by one, I could do nothing else with my life. But if I did all these things, or even just one or two of them, then it's like fair play. That's something at least. And I just think, if you're an ambitious person and you've got like goals in your head, you've got this drive to achieve something, but you don't really know what. I do think, don't worry too much about the big scale things. Like the career, the career, big achievements you can do. Yes, they're not to say they're not important, but if you're really lost about where to start, just start with the smallest things, like your health and fitness, or just find some things that genuinely you're like. Your life wouldn't even be that much better if you solved them, but they'd just make that little bit of difference, which would be enormous. So, anyway, guys, I hope you guys find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.